If you're living in your golden years and you want to find a place where you can kind of get away from people and be able to relax and enjoy the fruit of your labor and find a place where you're not going to have as many people around you, you're going to have a little bit more privacy, Alaska might be a really good option for you. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 best places, as far as I can see, places that would be to retire if you're living in Alaska. My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. And today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the top 5 places for retiring. If that's what you're looking at doing up here in Alaska, I'm going to be giving as good of a perspective as I have on it. Obviously, I'm not going to see everything through the eyes of somebody who's about to retire. I'm a little ways out from that, but this is going to be kind of the best perspective that I have on it. So before we get started, make sure you give this video a like, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's go and jump into today's video talking about the top places to retire in Alaska. Now, the first place that I would mention would probably be Anchorage. And the reason that I mention Anchorage is because if you are looking at retiring, Anchorage has the most and best access to all the conveniences and all the facilities you're probably going to need as you continue to age down the line here. So they've got more hospitals, they have more shopping, they have more, if you're looking for services, they have more options over here. If you're really looking to do just about anything that's going to involve anything other than just straight up nature, Anchorage is probably going to be a pretty good option for you. And from Anchorage, you'll be able to drive, the Matsu Valley, Kenai Peninsula, wherever it is you want to go within a couple of hours and be there. So if you're looking at retiring up here in Alaska, Anchorage is definitely a place I would at least consider, just because of its convenience and access to facilities and everything else that you're probably going to need here. So just an idea. And I mean, for that matter too, it is easier to get to the lower 48 from Anchorage than it's going to be anywhere else. So just a thought. The second town that I want to mention is going to be Palmer, Alaska. Now, Palmer is really kind of a nice smaller community in the Matsu Valley. Last I checked, I think it was right around 7,000 to 8,000 people who live there. And it kind of has a nice, little agricultural vibe to it. It has kind of a small town feel that they really hold on to. And it's not likely to just explode anytime soon into an enormous suburb or anything like that. So, Palmer really does have a nice feel to it. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit more slower paced, has a little bit more kind of an agricultural feel to it, Palmer is going to be a great option. They do have access to, kind of the basic shopping and stuff there. They do have for Fred Meyer's, and they're going to have kind of some smaller mom and pop shops there. And that's going to be really nice if you need any real big surgeries or any medical services done. You can definitely drive over. I think it's to the Matsu Medical, if I recall correctly. That's going to be a little ways away. If you have any large surgeries or medical care you need taken care of, then you're probably going to end up going down to Anchorage or possibly out of state entirely, just depending on how specialized your need is. So by and large, you'll be able to get what you need in Palmer, and it's going to have kind of a slower pace of life. And the population in Palmer, from what I've seen, now I don't have it in the data right here in front of me, but anecdotally, population in Palmer seems to be a little bit more in the retirement age anyway. So, that definitely has something to be said for it as well. Now, the third place that I would mention if you're looking at retiring in Alaska is going to be Seward. So, me personally, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Seward right now. I'd be happy to talk about why that is, not in public, but kind of a love-hate relationship. If you are looking at retiring somewhere though, Seward is probably going to be could be a great place for you. And the reason for that is it's going to be kind of a smaller community. It's going to have a much slower pace of life, even slower than what I've mentioned with Palmer as well. But the thing about Seward, though, kind of the downside to it, is most of its entire economy is going to be focused on serving tourists who are going to be coming through during the summertime. So you're going to have great access to the Kenai Peninsula. You're going to have the ocean right there at your doorstep. You're going to have glorious mountains all the way around you. But during the summertime, you are going to have a ton of tourists that are going to be coming through. So if you're looking for something where you're just isolated and you don't really see anyone hardly ever, Seward might not be a great option during the off season where there aren't a whole lot of tourists there. You can definitely expect to start to see less people going around there, and it's going to return to kind of its small town pace and vibe, and the traffic is going to be a lot easier to deal with. But that's just something you have to plan for if you're going to be living in somewhere like Seward. Now, As far as access to facilities and everything, they do have a little hospital there. I really doubt they have a lot of real specialization. It's going to be kind of more of the basic stuff. If they do need to get you out somewhere faster, they certainly can. But you are going to be about 2 hours south of Anchorage. And so if you need something done urgently and they can't take care of it, then, they're going to have to helo you in there somehow. And, they can definitely be done, but you just have to know that going into it. As far as access to all the big conveniences and everything there, they do have a Safeway, if I recall correctly, and they have some other local shops there. So you can get the basic necessities there, and that's going to be great. As far as the housing goes, I mean, they definitely do have a bit of a shortage over there, partly due to everybody kind of converting their properties over to Airbnb, because it does so highly favor the tourist industry over there. But, we're calling a spade. Also because their local leadership really have failed for a long time to kind of anticipate that the town was going to be expanding and was going to need more housing, and they haven't really incentivized construction really for the past couple of decades. So I'm not laying it completely on the shoulders of Airbnb hosts, but the upshot is that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to find housing in Seward than what you might find in other places. Let's take a break real quick here. For those who've been watching for a while, you do know that I host the Alaskan Journey podcast in addition to the Alaska Realtor YouTube channel. On the podcast, I interview people who've recently moved up here to Alaska, and we talk about what it's like living up here, what's their story as far as moving up here, so you hear from people other than just me talk about Alaska and the experience of actually moving up here. So do make sure you go check that out. Link for that is going to be in the description section down below. And also, if you are wanting to move up here, you'd probably also want a copy of my relocation guide. And the link for that is going to be in the description section down below. Just go to my website, register, and put relocation guide in the comments section so I know what to send you. Now, let's go and finish up by talking about the last two places you might consider retiring in Alaska. The next place that I would mention is in the Mat-Su Valley, and that is going to be Wasilla. Now, Wasilla is going to be, comparatively to the rest of the U.S., it's going to be a pretty small town, but it is going to be the largest population center in the entire Mat-Su Valley, and you're going to have a lot of conveniences, a lot of shops, a lot of stores that you probably wouldn't have in a city of this size if it weren't for the fact that it's the largest population hub. I think there's about 100,000 people who live total in the entire Mat-Su Valley, and most of them are going to come into Wasilla to get their basic necessities. So, you do have the Fred Meyers, you've got the Targets, you've got the Walmarts, you've got the Home Depot, you've got the Lowe's, the IHOP, the Red Robin, the Sonics, you've got all the basic stuff over here. And you're also going to have much more readily available access to the medical facilities here than you're going to have in most other places. So, all that's really good. They also have the golf course down here with Settlers Bay Golf Course and, Sleepy Hollow Golf Course as well, on kind of the suburbs, the north side of Wasilla as well. So if you're really into that, then, there you go. Got that made for you. So, all that's going to be good if you're looking to do that. Another nice thing about Wasilla is you can usually get something that's on a bigger piece of land, and you're going to be able to have a little bit more remoteness that way. So that's going to be a great boon for you if you're looking for a little bit more privacy. Now, the last town that I would mention if you're looking to retire up here in Alaska is going to be Sutton. Now, Sutton it's going to be definitely on the smaller end of all the property or all the different towns we've mentioned up to this point. And I think Sutton is really good for people who want to kind of have that off-grid feel without actually being off-grid. It's going to be a lot more isolated up there. It's going to be about 30 minutes north where Palmer is, and you're going to have mountains all the way around you. For the most part, it's pretty undeveloped back there. You're not going to have a whole lot of stuff and conveniences over there, though. So you're going to have some very bare-bone basic stuff, but if you need a lot of medical attention and you need to be close to a hospital, or you need to be close to conveniences or whatever else is going on, just know that is going to be one of the more remote places that we've discussed on this list. And, that can be just fine for some people, or it might not be a great option, if you know you're going to need to be close to some facilities. So that's something only you can decide for yourself. But, Sutton definitely can be a great option. You just have to kind of know, what you're going to be needing now, and then, in the future, if it's going to be a good fit for you. It might be a good idea just to have some kind of a vacation home or vacation cabin or something like that up there if it's not going to be a good fit long term. So I sure hope this has been useful for you. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out to me. my website or my Facebook page. A link for those are going to be in the description section down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Give this video a like, and we'll see you next time.